This is the second part of the Moment in History video on Andreas Vesalius and Jakob von Getweiler. In the first part, we discuss how Vesalius dissected the body of this criminal, mounted his skeleton as a preparation, and is today an exhibit at the University of Basel in Switzerland, being the oldest anatomical preparation in the world, 483 years old this year, 2026. In this second video, we will discuss the techniques used for preservation and dissection of bodies during the Renaissance. This will be done based on the book written by Vesalius, the Fabrica, which is on the bookstand right behind me. And fair warning, this topic may be a little bit too much if you are squeamish. If you like this video, I would personally ask you to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that we can continue investing the time required to prepare articles and videos that are correct from a historical and scholar point of view. Thank you so much for doing this. The anatomy or dissection that we talked about in the first video happened in May 1543. This is time-wise at the end of what's known as the Renaissance period and the early beginnings of humanism. At this time, there were no techniques for the preservation of human bodies as we have today, embalming and plastination. Bodies, when available, were preferably dissected in winter, and then in open spaces or in very well ventilated places, sometimes working through day and night and racing against putrefaction. The order of dissection followed this race, so those systems and organs that rot first would be studied and discarded first. Actually, it was not uncommon to delay the execution of criminals destined for anatomy until winter. How do we know this? Well, in my library, I have this 1540 book written in Latin by a medical student who described in detail the dissection of the human body by Vesalius and how he corrected an older anatomist that followed Galen's theories. This dissection was attended by 200 people. So, let's look at the Fabrica and some selected images from this book. So here's the Fabrica. And I want to show you a few things about it. First of all is the title page, which we've already seen in the first part of this video. Here's the title itself, and here's the public attending this dissection. And here is Andreas Vesalius at the center of this crowd dissecting a human body. Next, the dedication of the book. Next is this portrait. This is the only known portrait that we have of Andreas Vesalius. Every other image is based either on this or an artist's imagination. We'll come back to talk about that later in a few minutes. Here are some famous images of the Fabrica. This one known as the philosopher or Hamlet. And this motto for Vesalius, who says, "Vivitur ingenio cetera mortis erunt." So intelligence lives on, all the rest eventually dies. Next, a muscle man. There are several muscle pictures in this book, and that's the topic for another video. And lastly, the dissecting table with the tools of the trade, which are listed one by one. So let's go back to the first page and talk about these letters. These initial letters were quite common in medieval and Renaissance printing. They're known as decorative letters, initial letters, or in this case, storiated, because they do tell a story related to each chapter and each topic. We will review some of these historiated initial letters separately, following the topic of this video, but I wanted you to see them in situ, in place, in the book. Now, some of these letters use putti. Putti is a name given to images of pudgy cherubs, sometimes with wings, sometimes not, but they were common in medieval and Renaissance paintings. First, the obtaining of cadaveric material for dissection. Here is the letter L. As you can see, it shows public or students lowering a corpse from the gallows after hanging. In each case, I'll try to zoom in so you can see them better. After retrieving the body, the letter N shows a body being carried on a stretcher. Now, see that there's no effort made for concealment or secrecy. This was public. It was a public spectacle. Here is the slanted O letter. You can see two individuals bringing a head down from the gallows, while a child holds a basket for the head. Beheading was a preferred technique to study the head, without the putrefaction or rot of the rest of the body. Then we go to dissection. This letter D shows 5 putti, these little cherubs, dissecting a human head. So, what to do with the bones after dissection before mounting them as a complete skeleton, such as Vesalius did with the skeleton of Jakob Karger? In this letter, the letter C, we can see 3 individuals placing the dissected body, the bones, in a stream inside a perforated wooden box so that the bones slowly macerated to make it easy to clean all organic matter later. Another option can be seen in the letter O of the 1555 second edition of the Fabrica. In this letter, we see 5 putti, one of them holding a bone, another tending to the fire under a cauldron, and one placing a skull in the boiling water. Boiling and later drying was a preferred technique. Now, there's a limit I will not cross. I am not going to show some illustrated initial letters that may not be to the liking of some, but we need to understand what was done with what was acceptable at the time. I'm talking about dissecting animals and vivisection. The dissection of animals led to comparative anatomy, and vivisection, that is the dissection of animals and sometimes humans, was used to study physiology, the movement of the intestines, the movement of the stomach, the beating of the heart. In the second edition of the Fabrica, Vesalius added an illustration of a bone drill of his own design, which you can see right here. In 2023, we visited Antwerp with the occasion of the Vesalius triennial meeting. There we met Dr. Francis van Glaabek, an orthopedic surgeon from Antwerp, and discovered that in 2018 he had built the bone drill following Vesalius' instructions. We visited Dr. Glaabek at his home, his library full with rare books, with my friend Dr. Randall Wolf. And Dr. Glaabek showed us this grill. We were able to operate it, use it, and to my understanding, it's the only bone drill by Vesalius in the world. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you like this video. Do not forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share this video. Subscription is important to us. Thank you very much. Have a great day and see you soon.